Well, now we're going to move into the next section of our meeting, which is going to allow us to practice our impromptu speaking. Don't everybody throw your hands up at one time. This has been an interesting year. I had no idea how many friends and relatives had kids 18 years ago. But the post office got a sore back hauling the cards up. And we have been to several graduation festivities. Bert, you're going to take the first one. Saw you throw your hands up. Always do. Let's go here.
Let's do her. Let's do her.
What can you remember about your high school graduation?
What can I remember about my high school graduation?
Most memorable?
I think the thing to me that was the most memorable was the fact that something happened that my father actually came to that I did. And I don't know about the rest of you. You may have had supported families or not, but to me, that was more important than the graduation itself, because I knew that was just another step along the way. And I knew there was a lot more coming, but the fact that people of his era, of the greatest generation, just had a rough time saying, "I love you." To me, that said everything I needed to hear. I mean, we had parties and things like that, but it didn't mean as much to me as that one simple thing. So that's what it meant to me, other than it was hot. Thank you.
And the fun thing I can remember is the municipal was not air conditioned. That rented road for high school ran the body temperature up to about 180 degrees, time flat. Mr. Beasley, saw your hand go up. Let us know something that was impressive.
Something that was impressive about my high school graduation. Probably the most interesting thing was how close, even to this day, many of the folks I graduated with are. We were a close-knit class, and we had a close-knit relationship with the principal. Reason being, one of my classmates was the principal's oldest daughter. And that was the most interesting thing, because there were some of us who we didn't have the pool going, but we thought about it. We wondered how long it would take before our principal at the time broke down. Made it through and did a really good job. I have seen him maybe twice since that time. And he knows all of us and remembers most all of us by name. So I guess the close-knit relationship with all of those people I graduated with is probably the thing I remember the most. Mr. Topic Master.
Thank you, Tom. That is so true, so special. Sherry, you want to throw anything out there?
When I find the unmute button, I'd be glad to. One of the most memorable things about graduation, high school graduation, that I can recall was we graduated at the venue that was much different than had been in traditional years past, because the high school classes were growing so much, where high schools would merge, there was rezoning, there was desegregation, and our class was one of the first classes that graduated with all of those things in the mix. And when we graduated, to make the floor look pretty, and we were at the War Memorial Auditorium downtown, was that they alternated girls and boys, girls in white, boys in maroon. And my mom and dad were probably struck a little bit by the fact that I was sitting between two African American individuals. And even with that, when we graduated, everybody had to hug. And these two big football player guys that I had got to know pretty well, they all had to give me a hug and pick me up and swing me around, and finally had made it. And that now I cannot right now remember their names. However, I do remember the event, and that still in my mind is special. But when the kids graduate now, is that different? And do they see that differently? Have we gone backwards 50 years instead of forward? Mr. Table Topics Master.
Thank you very much. Let's see if we can get this unmute button to work. Okay. Anyone else want to throw anything out there? Okay, it's looking quiet. I'll throw one out there from ours. As you know, everybody has to show up incredibly early. And the dress code was white shirts and khaki pants for the males and white calf length dresses. And there was one girl that showed up in not a mini skirt, but a skirt above her knees. And they pulled her out of line and said, you can't graduate, even though you're wearing a pup tent over all that. And at that time, it's crazy with our group of hoodlums, but out of 822, probably 820 said, she ain't walking, we ain't walking. And you're going to have a whole lot of parents out there walking back out to the car to get their bird guns. Needless to say, that changed the whole attitude in that place, and she was allowed to walk. The biggest surprise was whenever they gave you your diploma, when you opened up the little flap to have it, to look at your diploma, you didn't get your diploma till you handed back that stupid gown. So that was one of the more fun things we had. I don't doubt that another high school graduated in them the next night, but the way we were sweating, I bet it was no fun for whoever got to wear mine.